What's up, world? Thanks for jumping in for another ride. This is the Michelin Pilot Sport All-Season 4, and we're going to take them on a 200-mile road trip evaluation. So we are going to mount up the Michelin Pilot Sport All-Season 4 on the 2018 Ford Edge Sport, and these are going to be in a 265/40 ZR21 size. So it's time to replace and upgrade those Pirelli Scorpions that came factory on the 2018 Ford Edge Sport, and they have about 35,400 miles, something like that on them. And so we're going to be replacing them with the Michelin Pilot Sport All-Season 4s. And I'm really excited about these tires that go on there. If you can probably see in the background, we actually have a set of the Michelin Pilot Sport 4s on the 2014 Shelby GT500. So big fan of Michelin tires. I've never used this particular tire. Now what's going to kind of make this test a little bit different is we're not going to go out to an autocross or a skid pad or a G pad or anything like that. This is our daily driver, so we're not going to be beating on it like that. But what this evaluation will add to us as far as an advantage is we're going to mount these up and take these on a 200-mile road trip. So Colin and I have signed up for a 10K down in the Austin area. And Austin is 209 miles from our address. So we're going to get these mounted up. We're going to do a really simple real-world evaluation of the Michelin Pilot Sport All-Season 4s. And we're going to be looking for things like obviously interior noise, exterior noise, wind shear in a small SUV. How stable are they? How do they feel whenever you go into turns, coming out of turns? Stability on the highway, stability on back roads. Do they pick up a lot of debris and do they sling a lot of debris? Because I can tell you that the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S do pick up some debris and some gravel and things like that, but they are a different animal for a different application than the All-Season 4s. So those are really going to be a lot of things that we're going to be looking for. Okay, so we stopped and fueled up on some E15. We are out of the majority of the Dallas-Fort Worth area traffic. And so we've been testing the Michelin Pilot Sports for about an hour now and a couple of observations. And I'm kind of doing a comparison here to the original Pirelli Scorpions, which honestly I'm not a fan of, and also the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S, which is on the 2014 Shelby GT500. First thing that sticks out in my mind comparing to the 2014 Shelby GT500 and the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S is the road noise. And the road noise off of the Michelin All-Season 4s is definitely more of a traditional road noise, and they're actually very quiet. So I do have to say that it's a very quiet road noise. But the PS4S actually has an extremely distinctive sound. And it could be just because of the GT500, I don't know that for a fact. Or it could also be something in the tread compound. It could be something in the tread design. I don't know what it is, but the PS4S has an extremely distinctive sound, and the All-Season 4s is more of just a traditional road noise sound. So that's pretty cool. Just, you know, not a good, not a bad, just an observation. So yeah, it's just got a traditional road noise, but the road noise is really quiet off of them. It's actually really quiet in the interior. And we were actually just laughing because Amy's riding in the back seat. It's kind of funny comparing to the old Pirellis that we don't have to yell to talk to someone in the back seat. And so road noise is an absolute plus on the All-Season 4s. So ride quality is extremely good. We've actually drove down one farm to market road, and then the rest of the driving has all been down either state highways or interstates, but so far so good as far as road quality. And one of those state highways is kind of a crappy road, but it did really good as far as absorbing any kind of highway or roadway imperfections and, you know, any kind of bumps, waviness, anything like that. The ride quality is actually phenomenal. The ride quality is actually really better than the PS4S, and the PS4S is a great tire all around. I know they're two different animals, two different applications, but that was kind of the standard that I was going by. So I have to say ride quality is absolutely an A+ as far as the All-Season 4s. Handling, as far as handling goes, so far so good. A couple of observations that I made as far as handling. One of the things that sticks out in my mind is initial turn-in is really good with these tires. They handle it exceptionally well. On the initial turn-in, one of the things that I absolutely like about these tires so far is, I don't know if maybe this is an observation that, you know, a lot of people get or not that really pay attention to driving, is, you know, there's that initial turn in and maybe the car will kind of settle, or it'll kind of do that little shimmy as soon as you turn into it and then settle into the turn. These tires do not do that at all. And I know that kind of characteristic is extremely common with a panhard bar type of suspension, but you know, it can be noticeable in other applications, especially, you know, considering different models and makes of tires with, you know, different intentions in mind. So I'm very happy to say that that is not a characteristic. Initial turn in is extremely smooth and it's very consistent all the way through. And again, mainly our driving has been on state and interstate, so most of them have been like sweeping turns and things like that, nothing aggressive by any stretch. But I think that's probably the application that the all-season 4s are going to see the majority of the time. So very happy with the handling characteristics so far. So great ride quality, great interior noise characteristics. The sound level is, you know, kind of the standard interior noise as far as any kind of tones or variables or anything like that goes. Definitely way different than the PS4S, and handling and turning on state and interstates has been fantastic. So we'll get on up the road and check in a little bit. We are just immediately south of Hillsboro, Texas, so maybe about a 45-minute drive, something like that, on the north side of Waco, Texas. And as luck would have it, we have hit some rain. So that's kind of a cool opportunity that we can test these tires in the rain. So we just pulled out of the rest stop there, and we're going to accelerate up to about 60 and through the little sweeping turn. And we actually hit some rain just before we got to that rest stop, and we were driving along about 80, 82, something like that. Typical interstate driving. And obviously while it was dry, no problems. And so once we hit the rain, we backed down to about between like 75 and 80. So nothing over 80 at that point. But the Michelin All-Season 4s are doing absolutely fantastic in the rain. So kind of a cool opportunity that we get a couple of different driving environments to test these. And we're going to keep heading south down to Austin, Texas, and keep testing out the Michelin All-Season 4s. On the all-season 4s, we are on the turnpike around Austin, and the speed limit is 80 miles an hour. So we're going to do a quick speed test, and the Michelins are extremely stable at approaching 100 miles an hour, about 95 or so. And we're coming up on some traffic, but we've been sustaining somewhere between 80 and 95 for the past, I don't know, 6-8 miles, something like that. And high speed test is absolutely fantastic on the Michelin All-Season 4s. And so as we approach some traffic up here, we are going to back off of it and do a little safer driving, obviously. So that is our quick high speed, if you will. I know it's not exactly over the top high speed, but it's about what we can legally get out here on the turnpike. So that is a little more testing of the Michelin Pilot All-Season 4s. And we're back from Austin, Texas. So Google Maps brought it up, I think somewhere around 448 miles, something like that. So let's just call it 450 miles. So we covered about 450 miles from our house to Austin, Texas, and a couple of trips running around doing a couple of things. And so it's Monday morning. Colin and I knocked out a 10K yesterday. We're a little bit tired, a little bit sore, but it's time to get back to work. So I got up super early, grabbed a giant cup of coffee, and I thought we'd go ahead and wrap up the evaluation of the Michelin Pilot All-Season 4s. Before we get into the final evaluation really quick, please do me a huge favor. There's a link down below this video, and it's to our merch shop. There is an absolute load of great high quality merch on there, so if anything catches your eye, please do me a huge favor. Go ahead and place your order. There is a 100% money back guarantee, and quality was our #1 consideration when going through the merch shop. And please check back often because we are constantly working on updating different designs and different items for the merch shop. And you know the deal, if any of the information in this video has helped you make a decision for a purchase, maybe you decide to go against the Michelins because of price point or something different, please do me a huge favor, hit the thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. Or if you just enjoyed hanging out with us and you always enjoy hanging out with different reviews, what Colin and I have going on in the shop, whatever it is, you know the deal, we'd love to have you as a subscriber. And you know it helps the algorithm whenever you hit that thumbs up. And so let's keep moving forward really quick on the evaluation of the Michelin All-Season 4s. What I thought we would do really quick, and I'm going to be honest here, I don't think it's going to make any difference. There's probably absolutely zero or next to zero tread wear after a small 450 miles on the Michelin All-Season 4s. But what I thought we'd do is grab that tread depth gauge out of the shop really quick, and I'll just run around to all four corners, and let's get a tread depth measurement on it. And then I'll go ahead and give you my overall evaluation of the Michelin All-Season 4s in a real-world 450-mile road trip as soon as we threw them on the 2018 Ford Edge Sport. Sorry, my lab's over there in the field running around, so I had to call her back in the yard. She's going to get in trouble over there. Come on, Abby. Hey, rear driver's side, 10-30 seconds. Front driver's side, 10-30 seconds. Front passenger side, 10-30 seconds. Rear passenger side, 10-30 seconds. And there you go. We are consistently about 10-30 seconds of tread. And again, like I said, I don't think that 450 miles probably made any difference whatsoever in the tread depth. And if it did, it's probably so minuscule that it would probably never show up on a standard tread depth gauge. Now, I do want to note real quick that I believe, if I remember correctly, that the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S has a little bit more of a shallow tread depth than the All-Season 4s. I can't guarantee that, but I'm almost positive that's the deal. So now let me go ahead and share what my overall valuation of the All-Season 4s is. And I did this on the Nitto Terra Grapplers that I put on the 2016 Ford F-150. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to give this a 1 through 5 thumbs up. So let's start with back roads. Now, my opinion on the Michelin All-Season 4s on back roads is that they are a little bit loud. And that's probably going to be with most tires. That's just the reality of it because back roads always have that gravel surface or they're a blacktop with the gravel on top. Whatever it may be, it's not going to be like a standard paved surface or even an asphalt surface. It's just going to be a little bit more interior noise and probably some exterior noise as well. And granted that this is a little Ford Edge, and so probably on a more higher end vehicle, say a Lexus or a Mercedes, anything like that, you're probably going to have the ability to dampen that interior noise a little bit. I just noticed that on back roads that there is some road noise off of it. And now let's be real honest that interior noise is not near as bad as the 35,000 mile Pirellis that came off of here. But there is still some road noise off of back roads. So for the back roads, I'm going to give the All-Season 4s a 4 thumbs up.
And the next category that I thought about for the All-Season 4s is the aesthetic appearance. And I have to say that the aesthetic appearance really reminds me a lot of the PS4S. Is the All-Season 4s do have that same checkered flag logo on the sidewall, just like the PS4S. And it's a very good looking tire. But I have to say that the aesthetic appearance for the All-Season 4s is similar enough to the PS4S that I have to give it a 3 thumbs up. And the reason why I say that is compared to the original Pirelli Scorpion tires, that these are nowhere near of as wide a stance. And I do personally just like a wide stance looking tire. And these appear to be not as wide of a stance as the original Pirelli Scorpions. And additionally, I don't mind the tread design whatsoever, but I think there are some better looking as far as aesthetic appearance asymmetric tread designs out there. Although I do understand that there is a great deal of technology that goes into this and it's very functional. Just as far as the strictly aesthetic appearance, I think that there are some really good looking tires now out on the market. And I think that the All-Season 4s is just like the PS4S. that they're not as wide as some of the tires on the market. These are a little bit more of a narrow design. And although the tread is extremely functional, it doesn't have quite the aggressive look as some of the other tires out on the market.
And now my thoughts on interstate and highway driving for the Michelin All-Season 4s. My opinion on the All-Season 4s as far as any sort of standard highway or interstate driving, especially on a good concrete surface, is these tires are absolutely phenomenal. I have to give these tires a solid 5 thumbs up. They absolutely ride fantastic. The noise level is absolutely controllable. It's not overbearing by any stretch of the imagination. So absolutely, highway and interstate driving, the Michelin All-Season 4s get a 5 thumbs up. Now, the next category that I thought about for the Michelin All-Season 4s is the handling department. Now, let's clarify, again, this is not a test, this is an evaluation. So we didn't go out to a skid pad or get a G-meter or anything crazy like that. This is just standard, overpass sweeping turns, navigating standard intersections, navigating standard interstate turns, sweeping curves, running, standard interstate speeds, whether it be 65 or 75 or 80, 85 miles an hour, whatever it is. So that's kind of what I consider for the handling department. And I have to say that we did do a couple of quick blasts down the turnpike going around Austin, Texas. And some of the speed limits out there, like between 80 and 85 miles per hour. And so we did go through some sweeping curves at those kinds of speeds. So 80, 85, approaching 90 miles an hour. So I have to say that the handling, as far as the everyday consumer is going to experience with the All-Season 4s, is absolutely phenomenal. And I have to say that I really can't believe that this is an all-season tire, especially in my mind when I compare this to the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S. So in the handling department, the 4 Seasons absolutely get a 5 thumbs up. And that gets us into our next category that I thought about these tires, and that is high-speed stability. Now, again, we didn't have access to any sort of track, and this is our daily driver, and these are going to be tires that are going to be driven on every day. No road race, no autocross, nothing like that. This is going to be an evaluation for the everyday consumer looking for a tire that they can drive every single day throughout the year and do some spirited driving on. So high-speed stability basically consisted of, once we jumped on the turnpike going around Austin, Texas, some of the speed limits were between 80 and 85 miles per hour, and we did push the speed up between 95 and 100, and we stayed there for probably somewhere between 8 and 10 miles. So we did a pretty good blast at just below 100 miles an hour, definitely above 90 and 95 miles per hour. And we were just kind of curious, like, okay, let's see what we got with these things. And honestly, it never changed. So as far as any sort of driving conditions like that on any sort of turnpike or one of the roads that is allowed for higher speeds like that, if you want to get those higher speeds up and maintain it and absolutely feel comfortable, safe, stable, I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better out of a tire for those type of conditions. The Michelin Pilot All-Season 4s absolutely gets a 5 thumbs up in high-speed stability. And segueing over from high-speed stability into wet weather conditions, on our way down to Austin, Texas, we probably hit maybe about 3 rain showers total, something like that. And you can see that the car did get pretty dirty in the wet weather. And some of the showers were pretty heavy. Nothing absolutely overbearing, water running across the highway or no flood conditions, anything like that. It was just a standard rain shower driving conditions, nothing over the top. And for wet weather driving conditions for the All-Season 4s, I absolutely have to say, same situation. We backed it down to between 70. We might have hit 75, but standard speeds was about 70, something like that. And that's opposed to kind of what our normal cruising speed was between 75 and 80. And so for wet weather driving conditions, backed it down to 70. And again, nothing changed. The stability didn't change. I had no concerns, no safety issues, no noise change whatsoever. In wet weather driving conditions, the Michelin All-Season 4s absolutely deserves a 5 thumbs up. So next category for the Michelin Pilot All-Season 4s is going to be price point. And well, everybody knows that you pay for what you get. And I have to say that the Michelin Pilot All-Season 4s are definitely not the cheapest tires on the market. So I think I've got about $1,500 in this set of tires, something like that. And so they're definitely not the cheapest. I don't know if they're the absolute best performing, but I would absolutely be surprised if there's something out there that could do better in all the different scenarios and conditions that we put these tires to. They are definitely an all-season, all-around, good-spirited driving, great standard consumer performance tire. And what I mean by that, these are a tire that you can buy off the shelf.
They're going to show up quick. You're not going to have to wait any crazy length of time. So you should have great tread wear at them. That's yet to be seen. We'll do a long-term test on them. And so for our final category, I just wanted to kind of combine all the different categories that we came up with for the Michelin All-Season 4s. And considering all the different categories that we put together, and I don't know if I can do this or not, and I just want to clarify that the reason why I'm going to give the evaluation score to the All-Season 4s that I'm going to give it is because of that road noise on back roads and not necessarily interstate driving. There is a slight amount of road noise coming off of them. And so I just want you to consider that if the all-season 4s are going to be on your radar for a purchase, especially depending on what your normal driving conditions are. If you're in a rural area and you're always going to be driving back roads, whatever that may be. And again, there's that price point. These tires are on the upper level of price point on the market. So for that, the overall evaluation that I have to give to the Michelin All-Season 4s is a 4.5 thumbs up. And I have to be 100% honest here, I was extremely skeptical if I was going to be as happy with the all-season 4s as I have been with the Michelin Pilot Sport 4s on the 2014 Shelby GT500. Now, considering the application for a daily driver on the 2018 4-Day Sport, I'm absolutely at this point as happy as I am with the Pilot Sports. So do I recommend the all-season 4s for a daily driver or your grocery getter? Absolutely. If it's in your price point, go ahead and pull the trigger, get it done. Now listen, with that, I want to wrap up this video by saying thank you very much for clicking or tapping on this video and making it all the way to the end. Please do me a huge favor. I hope this information really helped you out, or you just enjoyed hanging out with us. Thank you for coming along on a road trip all the way down to Austin, Texas and back. We had a fantastic time. I'm a little sore and I have to get back to work to actually pay the bills. So please do me a huge favor. Hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and as always, jump in for another ride.